Hello and welcome to Dumb Guys Talk About Fantasy Baseball. In this episode, we're talking about our 16 through 30 rankings. But before we get started on this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, support the Dumb Guys. We're doing these videos twice a week on Wednesdays and on Sundays, and that's probably going to go up.
Yes, and we've also got some Brazilian America videos. We've typically put those up on Saturday. I have a how to make a Brazilian hot dog video ready to edit, so I'll probably go up next Saturday.
Yeah, that hot dog looks pretty good. So, And that kind of goes with baseball.
It does. Yeah, it's a pretty good, appropriate one.
Okay, and if you have any suggestions for videos, anything you want to see, just put it in the comments below. We love to do requests. So if you've got something, a special video, a special topic, we're happy to take a look at it and give you our opinions on that. But for now, let's get started.
All right. So going into number 16, I got the guy that just missed the first video. So we do have a 1 through 15 video,
That's
of course.
right.
So go back and look at that.
Yep.
But that is Francisco Lindor. And this is really a shortstop position type of value here because I did not like my drafts where I didn't get one of the early shortstops. I like some of the later second base, some of the later catchers, outfielders. But the later shortstop, I'm not as high on. We have a after 250 picks. I do have a couple options there, but I just like my teams better, and I think Lindor's got a lot of talent. He's still in the rise, still coming to his prime. He's only about 24 years old, so I like him here.
He's young. I like him, but for me, shortstops, I don't know. I'm not that excited when I get a shortstop early because there are other guys who I really like better than that in the first couple of rounds. So I don't have Lindor that high, and I definitely don't have him as high as people like Machado, players like Machado or Correa, who I think are more first-round type of guys. But if you want to hear more about that, go watch our 1 through 15 video because I talk about that a lot. But let me jump to my number 16. And this is a guy who everybody's got in the first round, and I dropped him way down to number 16. That's Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts. For some reason, I don't know. He just doesn't do it for me in the first round. But if he goes, down here at number 16, I would consider taking him. The Red Sox just got a little bit better with JD Martinez, right? And
they did. I think before Big Papi left, he scored 130 runs in a season. Then went down some. So maybe JD Martinez can knock him in some more and he'll get back up to that level.
Yeah, and if he does that, I mean, he did have over 100 runs and over 100 RBIs 2 years in a row. That's pretty decent.
Yes, 2020 is kind of a given with him.
Yep, 21 stolen bases 3 years in a row, 21 plus stolen bases 3 years in a row. As we start getting closer to the season, I might start rethinking where my rankings are. But right now, going on what I said with my 1 through 15, I'm going to throw him at 16.
All right. Mookie's starting to win you over a little bit?
I'm looking at him and Altuve and going, maybe I got him a little bit low.
Oh, okay.
But I gotta stick to my guns a little bit here with my lists.
Yes. All right. Well, number 17 is somebody that I'm really dropping low, and I'm a lot of people won't agree with me. But I've got Trey Turner right here. I just don't think I'm going to get him, of course. Like, this is way lower than everybody ranks him.
Yeah.
But this is where I decide if he falls this far, okay, I'll take him. And one reason is I was looking at some old stats from the 90s and the 80s, and we don't have a guy like a Kenny Lofton or a Tim Raines or a Ricky Henderson, those level of leadoff hitters right now, that can steal you 60, 70 bases and hit over 300 and score a whole bunch of runs. And I think Trey Turner might be the closest thing we've got. Maybe him and D. Gordon are kind of like the closest thing we've got to those good old leadoff hitters we used to have. And I think it's just more and more guys are hitting for power, so that style hitter is kind of going away.
Yeah.
He's also a shortstop.
Yeah, and I've got Trey Turner even further down my list. I'm with you. I don't believe him in the first round. And the reason for that is because he's never played a full season in the majors, and everything is a projection. Everything is based off of what did he do in the short sample sizes that we've seen. In addition to that, he really regressed in his second short season. So I don't like him. He's I'll just say it right now. I've got him down at 23.
Oh,
so
you won't get him either.
Yeah, I won't get him either, unless everybody agrees that he's going too high. Okay, moving on to my number 17. That's Anthony Rizzo. I like him because he's consistent. 31 or 32 home runs 4 years in a row, 100 plus RBIs, and 94 plus runs 3 years in a row. 899 plus OPS 4 years in a row. I mean, that's consistent.
It is.
It's pretty solid numbers there. And he could surprise you with some stolen bases. I know you got some of those. And the topper, second base eligible.
Yeah, I guess it's how the Cubs play bunts. It makes him so he's actually the position player closest to second base.
Yeah, so that's insane to me, but he's second base eligible. I know you took advantage of it last year, and I would rather wait till the end of the second round or even the third round because he might even be ranked a little bit lower than that or whatever, and take him instead of using a really high pick to take Altuve.
Yeah, I've had Anthony Rizzo 2 years in a row, and it's that consistency. He did have a bad first month last year, but he made up for it the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and I still think we haven't seen the peak. He's not quite to like those 27, 28, 29 years. I think he might be coming in year 27 this year. So we may still see that 40 home run season out of him. Who knows?
Yeah, right.
My turn, I guess. And I'm really glad that this guy found a team before we had to make this list because I have a hard time placing all those guys that don't have teams yet.
Yeah.
But here's JD Martinez. And one thing I like is he's going to be DHing a lot in Boston. And his problem the last couple of years is missing a little time here and there with injury. And of course, playing in the field is going to, not playing in the field, I mean, it's going to lower those injury odds a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think he's a little safer there. Boston has some weird dimensions. I mean, they got the Green Monster and they have a really deep right center field. So it's hard to say if he'll have more or less home runs, but 45 home runs in a shortened season, I mean, even a little bit less than that's still good.
He hit a lot of home runs last year, and I think it was probably 10 more home runs than he's had in a season prior to that.
He had a 38 home run season.
Did he have a 38?
Yeah.
Okay. So still quite a few more home runs in less than a full season.
Yeah,
so.
He's an OPS monster too.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely got a lot of talent. I know, some Tigers fans that were really high on him a few years ago when he was, coming up with them, and so I know people are high on him. It's just, can he stay healthy? And can he produce the way he produced last year? He's got a good hitters team.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have guys like Betts and Benintendi and those guys hitting around him. So I think there's a good chance to succeed there.
Yeah. Okay, next guy on my list is a guy I left off the first round also, and that's Charlie Blackmon. I know both of us had him on our bust list.
Yeah.
And it's only because he was going too low in the draft. He was going in the first round, and I don't like that. He came out of he didn't necessarily come out of nowhere last year, but he did really explode with home runs. And he doesn't have the legs anymore. He's not stealing the bases anymore. So that's why I had to get him out of the first round. And let's see here. I don't expect him to be what he was last year. So that's obvious, right? That's why he's dropping down there. He plays really well in Colorado. And Colorado has an offensive team as well.
Yeah.
So
who doesn't play well in Colorado?
Right.
So those home away splits are usually pretty bad for those guys. And I heard he's dropping down in the order a little bit, which might cost him 30, 40 at-bats. Instead of being the leadoff man.
Yeah, it'll cost him some at bats. Maybe give him some RBIs. Who knows? What is he hitting in front of Arenado?
Yeah, he was hitting leadoff there and scoring all the runs. So maybe the run
when they move him down.
I think Arenado's going to be fourth and Blackmon third.
And I think that makes a lot of sense too. So okay,
all right, my turn. Here's a pitcher. It's Max Scherzer. Now, I think there's a lot of pitchers I'll be talking about him that are almost the same thing right about this area. You might be kind of guessing which names I'm going to say when I get to them. But Max Scherzer, you're going to be set on strikeouts. That guy gets in the high 200s. His strikeouts per 9 is always outstanding. One thing, he was one of the best pitchers last year, but only had 16 wins. Maybe the Nationals put it together a little bit, and he gets a few more wins than that next year. And probably the only concern is I think he's about 33. So that's kind of that age where a fireball like him, his arms might start getting tired. So, but I like him here at 19. I might not get him because a lot of people are taking him much higher, but this is where I put him.
Scherzer, you said? Yeah. I had Scherzer ranked 10, so he was just at the edge of the first round. I mean, that guy's solid. So he's got. I said a whole lot of good things about him. Go watch that other video. You can hear about it. Okay, my next guy is Freddie Freeman. And I like Freddie Freeman. This guy hits the ball really hard. He struggled to remain on the field, though. Injuries have really hurt him. But if this guy stays on the field for an entire season, he's going to be solid. He's also eligible first and third base, so I like that.
Yeah.
Flexibility.
Yeah, one thing, a guy like him, he always has like that little injury, then he misses a little bit of time. But I was looking at Yoenis Cespedes as a comparison, and he's one of those guys that when he is in, he's good. So if you're good at your work in the waiver wires, you might find his replacement really well. And I like his flexibility because he's third base eligible now. So you pick a guy like that earlier, you can move him either spot as you find the best players later in the draft.
Right. Yeah.
So I like that flexibility. All right, so on to number 20 already?
Yeah.
All right, so this is one I like maybe better than Blackmon. This is why I dropped Blackmon quite a bit, and that's George Springer. I have at number 20. He had 34 home runs last year in 140 games. So if he gets up to 155, which is what a lot of guys play if they don't miss any time with injury, and getting a few days off here and there, he could be pushing 40 home runs. And he's batting leadoff. So very similar to Blackmon, power hitter, batting in the leadoff in a very powerful lineup. So his runs scored could be among the league leaders, I think, if he plays the 155 games I'm hoping he gets. His stolen bases are kind of an anomaly because his first year had 16. Then his caught stealing gets really high. And so I think it's kind of hard to count on any stolen base. So I wouldn't count on it, but you might get 7, 8, 9, 10 around that range as a bonus.
Right, yeah.
But I think he's basically...
Didn't he have a couple years of 0 stolen bases?
I don't know if he went all the way to 0, but he had a couple years where he had more caught stealing than stolen bases.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that may have been true last year. Like he had 7 steals, caught to stealing about 10 times.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't count on that aspect. But I think here's basically what Blackmon's going to do, clear down at number 20.
I think that's a pretty good comparison. I like that. Where do you have Blackmon? Did you have Blackmon?
I had Blackmon, I think, 8th or 9th.
Okay, yeah, so you still had him in the first round.
Still had him in the first round, but low enough to where I don't think I'm going to get him.
Yeah. So that's your justification.
Yeah.
For putting him that low, even though you think that the guy you have listed at your rank 20 is.
I would rather have him because of the value, because I think he'll do the same thing, and I can get him around later.
Okay. Shouldn't you rank Blackmon down at 21 then?
Not necessarily, because I think Springer hasn't had a year like Blackmon yet.
Yeah.
I think he can, and I think next year they'll be very similar to each other, but Blackmon's done it.
All right.
Okay. But I'm not going to get him.
But you're not going to get him. Yeah. But if Blackmon's available at 8, you would take him.
I would really wrestle with it.
Okay.
Because I'm also... He's outfield, so there's not much position value there either.
Right.
I'd really wrestle with it when I got there.
Although I feel I struggled with outfield a lot last year because I waited for outfield deep, and you got to fill 3 of those spots. So
yeah.
Okay. Well, interesting. Just trying to get into your head a little bit. Okay. I think I'm on 20, and this is where I got JD Martinez. I've got JD Martinez at 20, basically signed with the Red Sox. I think that's going to be good for him hitting that lineup. If he can stay healthy and get 162 games under his belt, he's going to be good. I don't think he's going to be 45 home runs good, but I think he's going to be good.
Yeah, like we just talked about him, so
yeah.
Use your memory to remember that part. All right, number 21 for me, Jose Ramirez. Second, third base eligible. Really showed off his power this year. Very young. I think he's only about 24. Him and Lindor are going to be good infielders for the Indians for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Both of their powers really jumped this year. But I think even if you don't 100% believe the 29 home runs Jose Ramirez hit, I still like him here even if he drops down by about 5-6 home runs. He's still going to be 22, 23 home runs, 20 stolen bases, 56 doubles. That is ridiculous. You don't always get somebody that hits that many doubles every year. A lot of times leading the league is 40. So look at your league's stats. Like I think points leagues really value doubles, but Roto maybe not so much unless it does help OPS. So, but I really like him here just because you feel second base, you get some home runs, some stolen bases, and I think consistent batting, really high batting average batting.
Yeah. I like his flexibility being available for second and third base. I agree. I don't believe in the home runs. And that brings me to my number 21, which is Lindor, who I also don't believe the 33 home runs he hit last year. And I know we've had this conversation several times. I mean, I think he hit 17 home runs, 19 home runs, and then jumped up to 33. So, for me to spend this pick on him, I would really like him to do that again. If he hits 33 home runs again, or somewhere around 30 home runs again, I'll like him a lot more next year. Yeah. But he hasn't done that consistently, so that's why I drop him down here. And again, when it comes to shortstops, I'm looking at Machado. I'm looking at Correa. Mm-hmm. I'm really not interested in Lindor necessarily at shortstop if I'm gonna spend a big pick on like that.
Yeah, and you do have a point. His home runs jumped. But look at if you look at Machado's first 3 years, it's like 7, 11, 30. So it's a similar thing. But you're saying you want to see that one more year.
I want to see it another year before I spend the pick on it. Yeah. And I've had drafts where I've picked up Lindor and I haven't liked the way those have played out either. So,
all right. So here's the first pitcher, the second pitcher after Scherzer that I think these guys are definitely just all in the same class, and that's Chris Sale.
Wow, you got him way low.
I got him at 22. And the thing it was hard for me to rank these two guys and another one I've got a few picks later because I think they're all the same guy. You could interchange all of them. But Sale had over 300 strikeouts last year.
Yeah.
And he led the majors with only 217 innings pitched, but it did lead the majors. I don't think that's going to lead the majors next year. Guys like innings eaters like Bumgarner and David Price and stuff were hurt last year.
Yeah.
Like I said, you could, if you think he's a little better than Scherzer, swap him out with the 16 like I got him. But I do think he's the second or third best pitcher in the draft.
They're really close. 300 strikeouts, like you said, 12.9 strikeouts per 9, 17 wins 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Pitching for Boston, who's going to win a lot of games. I like Sale.
Yeah, and I think the only reason I have Sale below Scherzer right now is because he had a nice ERA last year, but the 2 years before was like 320 plus. Where Scherzer's had lower ERA.
And I agree with your ranking. I have Scherzer just a little bit better as well. Okay. On to my number 22. 22?
Yeah, that's what I just did.
Well, I've got Jose Ramirez here. So, like you, quite a jump in home runs last year. Not sure if that's going to continue. He is second and third eligible, which we already talked about. So he's got the flexibility. And I would rather take somebody like Jose Ramirez than, again, spending my number 2 pick on an Altuve. I like him better, deeper. And I actually think I've had some drafts where I've actually got Lindor and Ramirez. And I didn't really like it, but it's just interesting that I can get both of those guys as opposed to one, Altuve.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So 23, Judge.
Oh, man.
I saw several rankings where he was around 20. I think he's climbing. Yahoo listed him third in one of their listings I was looking at.
That's crazy.
But here it's like 23. We're in a 10-team league. I would already have 2 proven solid guys at this point. So I'd be a little more okay with the guy risking the sophomore slump at this stage.
Yeah.
Last year was amazing, but like I said, I kind of compared him to McGuire, and McGuire regressed. Everyone regressed in the sophomore season. So it's hard to know how far with a fly ball strikeout guy. But I think, like I said, at this point, if you're in a 10-team league, if you're in a 12-team league, maybe drop down to 25th so you have 2 established guys before you get him, is what I'd say.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. You want to see him do it year after year. I understand that.
Yeah.
Although I do really like his lineup. And I think even if he does regress, he's going to go from 50 home runs to 35 home runs. Pretty solid. So, I like Judge. All right, here's finally where I put Trey Turner. Just like you were saying about Judge, I'm more willing to take a shot on Trey Turner after I've got 2 established guys.
Yeah.
2 guys that I know what I'm going to get year after year. They're producing, and then I can take a shot on this guy who's going to give you a ton of stolen bases. Could have, a decent OPS, could hit 15 home runs.
Yeah.
But you don't know because he's never played an entire season. And so here we go. Around my 3rd pick, I'd be willing to take a shot on him.
All right. And, you might have stolen bases locked up if you take that guy.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Number 24, Madison Bumgarner. Now, I think this is the first pitcher I've got that's actually about where he's going. So this is the first pitcher I think I might have a shot at getting. Even though our league is a bunch of Giants fans, so maybe not.
And they're pitching crazy.
Yeah, sometimes. our leagues take some early pitches sometimes. Of course, he crashed his motorcycle last year. I think he regrets that. I think he's going to be more careful. I think he said sorry to the team.
I hope so.
Yeah. And I think he's working hard on bouncing back. And the Giants improved their defense behind him. And so I like all those aspects. I think you have his typical 18-win, 280s ERA, 250 strikeouts type season.
Yeah. He's solid. I like him a lot. Okay, my 24 is George Springer.
Oh.
And it looks like I'm just a little bit behind you on some of these guys. What I had to do is early on I needed to fill those guys in that I dropped out of the first round. So, but George Springer, like you said, hit 34 home runs in just 140 games last year. A full season could have bumped him up to close to 40 home runs.
Yeah.
Good offensive team, scored 112 plus runs the past 12 years, so they know they're scoring runs with this guy in the leadoff spot.
Yeah.
Stolen bases are iffy, but he's got that potential. I do like him for an outfield spot.
Yeah, and like I just talked about, I do too. Number 25, I think you'll disagree with me here. I got Josh Donaldson. If I go with a Arenado or a Freeman or a Ramirez earlier, I'm probably not looking for him here because I've already got third base locked down. But I really liked him the drafts where I took a Goldschmidt in the first round, somebody like that. Maybe a Rizzo, and then fill third base with this, and they look like a couple beasts side by side, I think, here. And actually, in our 10-team league, this is your third pick. And so a lot of times here, I really like the power potential I've got, and he's playing for a contract, and he's filling third base and I think you still get that elite production here, maybe in the third round.
Yeah, if he could bounce back from what he did last year, he's definitely got some value there. I like him better around 31 or somewhere in the fourth round for us to get that real value out of him, just in case he regresses a little bit. So that's kind of how I feel about him.
Okay.
My number 25 pick, Madison Bumgarner.
No.
This guy, 200 plus innings pitched 6 years straight before the fluke injury last year on the motorcycle. 191 plus strikeouts per season over that same time frame. 15 and a half average wins a season. Low ERA. This guy's a workhorse that goes out there, wins games, and pitches very well. I would take him for sure. 25. I wanted him last year. I'm glad I didn't get him, but he was going in the, I think he went around 12 or something last year.
Yeah, and I think he's one of those guys that's just got nerves of steel, a relaxed motion, so it makes him super consistent.
Yeah.
All right, 26. I got Gary Sanchez. If he's still here at this point, there's not really another guy that could possibly get 40 home runs at catcher. And he's going to be hitting in the middle of that order. The only drawbacks I have with him is with the amount of hitters they have, DH might be kind of blocked for him. So if he starts struggling with the defense at catcher, will that cost him some at-bats?
Yeah.
So that's my biggest drawback. But we've seen nothing but home runs out of him so far.
Yeah, I had him on my team last year. He was very solid. I don't have him in my top 30 this year. First of all, I don't feel like I want to spend that much on a catcher. You're right. There's no other catcher out there that's going to compare to that. And I think the next catcher is not going for 3 more rounds later. So
yeah.
Or something like that. So I don't expect to get him because I feel like if I'm going to get him, I'm going to have to reach farther than I want to.
Yeah, and a catcher is risky. I mean, it's one of the most injury-prone positions out there.
And they don't play, 162 games. I mean, these guys are usually, 145 or something like that.
Well, let's say, without the Stanton pickup, I would be saying, well, maybe this is the guy that DHs on his days off.
Right.
But maybe it's hard to say that'll happen. We haven't really seen how the Yankees are going to handle all those hitters they've got.
They got a lot of hitters, they got a lot of outfielders, and they've got 2 that definitely need to be in that lineup, and that's Judge and Stanton, and you'll figure out what they do with the other ones. So okay, moving on to my number 26, and that's Corey Seager. I think this is a good option at shortstop if you miss out on, Machado, Correa, Lindor, and the other guys. He's still young, got some room to improve, had a good OPS, got a good batting average, playing for a solid team in the Dodgers. Everybody loves the Dodgers. So, I like Seager at this spot.
This is a guy I'm really taking off my list. And I know you're going to think it's a Giants bias, but 300 average, 20 home runs, you could get that at Didi Gregorius much later. Or I like Marcus Semien really late in the draft, almost to 300. That's why I kind of drew the line at Lindor. If I don't get Lindor, I'm going to wait a while on shortstop.
Yeah.
I would rather have Correa, Machado, Lindor. Don't get him, wait.
I won't argue with you there. There are some good options at shortstop, deeper, and you're taking a chance on some of those guys. I know you don't believe Didi Gregorius, though, right? I had him in my lineup
quite a bit last year. It's the type of thing we've never seen the power before.
Yeah, last year was kind of a breakout. Although I like Didi because we've seen improvement from him in all of his offensive categories for like 4 years straight. So he's improving year over year. Anyways, that's another story.
Also, watch our next video. I have another late shortstop I haven't mentioned. I'll be mentioning in that for the after 250 pick.
Watch all of our videos.
Watch all of our videos, yes. All right, is it my turn? Or my turn? 27, right?
Yeah.
So here's Corey Kluber. And as you can see, a lot of my pitchers I'm ranking low just because I want at least 2 or 3 really good hitters right at the start of the lineup. Because I think if I have a strength that's picking sleeper pitchers, I think I'm better at that than trying to fill out later hitters. So I've got Corey Kluber here. Like I said, Scherzer, Sale, and this guy are all definitely on the same level. 200 plus strikeouts, low ERA, low WHIP, Cy Young contender, probably 1, 2, 3 for Cy Young, contention. Even though Scherzer's in a different league than the other two. Yeah. But how can you go wrong? I'm ranking kind of low, so it's doubtful I'll get him.
Yeah, you're probably not, since I've got him ranked about 15 spots higher.
Yeah.
But we did it in the same order. It was Scherzer, Sale, Kluber.
Yeah.
Okay, next guy on my list, Cody Bellinger. I know a lot of people say, he's not going to do what he did again. What did he hit, like 39 home runs or something like that?
Yeah, 39.
He hit a lot of home runs. Plays first base. I think there's a lot of options there. But, he's a Dodger. The Dodgers were exciting last year. They got a lot of young guys. I think that excitement can continue. And I think he might be a good option here towards the end of the third round in a 10-man.
Yeah, the scariest thing for me is that he struck out 40% of his at-bats in the playoffs. And he definitely cannot maintain that next year and still be in the majors.
He can't. But you know what? When you're in the playoffs, you're playing the best of the best. You're playing the best pitchers that got that opponent to the playoffs. You can't really judge it completely from his playoff performance.
Hitters like Correa and Altuve did stand up to that pitching. So I think he's got a weakness in his swing. But throughout the season, of course, he will probably have some mistakes thrown at him that he could crush.
Yeah.
So he probably won't. He'll have some home runs, but like I said, the sophomore slump is always scary to me.
Yeah, and he's a Dodger.
He's a Dodger. Freaking Dodgers. All right, 28. I got Thor, Noah Syndergaard. Now, this is probably my riskiest pick in the top 30 because I think he could have an injury. I think he's worked really hard on his conditioning, though, and recovering. So, and I think he was overemphasizing just throwing extremely hard last year. I think he learned his lessons. He's going to come back, and this guy could be the number 1 pitcher next year. He's that level of talent. So that's where the risk starts, the high risk, high reward starts to play out here. By this point, you've got a couple really solid players. Maybe you can start taking your risk here. This guy throws by far the hardest in the majors consistently. So, for a starter, 98 plus, throughout a start.
Yeah.
And extremely hard to hit. I think the Mets will improve. They had some tough luck with injuries with their position players. So I just think this guy's in a good spot to succeed, of course, with the caveat of if healthy.
Yeah. I agree with you. I've got him listed at 28 as well.
Oh, whoa.
Noah Syndergaard at 28. I agree this guy's got a lot of talent. 2.89 lifetime ERA, 10.7 strikeouts per 9. He feels good. I actually just read an article where he was talking about how good he feels, how last year he got bulked up and it took away some of his flexibility, and now he's nice and flexible and limber, and he feels like he's going to come out and he's going to pitch well, and that the Mets rotation is going to be healthy. So I like him at 28 as well. I agree with everything you said.
We actually had somebody on the same number.
Wow.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen a lot.
No, what are the odds? So number 29, I got Anthony Rendon. Unfortunately, this guy lost his second base eligibility. He's just third base now. But I like this guy as well. Like I said, all the reasons for, Josh Donaldson, is that, if you take a big name first baseman or outfielder in the beginning, I think this is still, you can get elite production. 100 runs, 100 RBIs, I think he will have this year in that Nationals lineup. He's a very consistent hitter because he both walks and hits for high batting average. So his OPS is going to be high. So, of course, his OBS is going to be high. So, of course, his OPS is going to be high. 25 home runs is kind of boring at third base, but all his outliers, I think, make up for that. And, maybe he can push
does score a lot of runs, does score a lot of RBI.
And maybe his stolen bases kind of bounced back. He had a year of 16, another year of 12, went down to 7 last year. So we'll see.
Yeah,
where that goes.
Okay. All right, my number 29, back to the Mets rotation, Jacob Degrom. This is another guy who I think is very talented, and I was actually wondering which way do I go? Do I put Degrom first or Syndergaard first? And I chose Syndergaard first because of his strikeouts. He's got more consistent strikeouts per 9. But Degrom, 200 innings pitched last year, 239 strikeouts, 15 wins. ERA was a bit inflated. That also had me a little bit concerned. But strikeouts per 9, was up last year at, I think, in the 10s. He's normally in the mid-9s. We'll see what happens there. That's the only reason why I put Syndergaard before him, though. But I think he's a good option at pitcher. A lot of good options for pitchers in the top 30.
Yeah.
I think there's like 6 or 7 pitchers in the top 30.
Yeah, even though DeGrom didn't make my top 30, I've had lots of drafts where he's the first pitcher I take because I like him as well.
Right. Nice.
All right, my number 30 and my finale is Alex Bregman. And I just really like the high ceiling here. Getting his feet wet in the majors was almost 2020. He could play shortstop and third base. He was a World Series hero, so he's going to be coming off that confidence. And I just like him a lot, and I like taking super high ceiling guys. And I just like him a lot better than the other hitters going right here. Say like Dee Gordon's, Rice Hoskins. I know everybody's high on Rice Hoskins, but I'm not. I have, I think, similar guys later. Dee Gordon, I don't like to sacrifice home runs as much as you do. So that's why I put Bregman here at 30. I'm willing to take him there to get that flexibility shortstop at third and just a super high ceiling.
Yeah, I like him too, especially with that flexibility with shortstop eligibility, and you can slot him at third base. Playing for a great offensive team, I do like him a lot. Okay, my finale here, my last pitcher. I know you don't like him because of his injury, risk, and that's Steven Strasburg. But the thing is when this guy's on, he's on. He pitches so well. 10.5 strikeouts per 9. He averages 16 wins a season. Lowest ERA of his career last year. That was a good sign, I thought. It's the number of innings pitched is the biggest concern. I understand the concern, but that might make him drop a little bit further than his skill level, and so he might be a steal. But I like Strasburg.
If you're willing to take the injury risk. And I like the stats too. I think he's a similar upside to, maybe almost as high of an upside as possibility as Thor, but maybe not quite. I think his mechanics put a lot of pressure on his elbow. So I'm just scared of that injury risk. Anyway, that's the end.
That's it. Yeah. 16 through 30. Go watch our 1 through 15 so you can be all caught up with our top 30.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. And we've had a guy in our comments asking about drafting with us. So let us know if more people are interested, because we might start a whole league for us two to draft with the people that watch us on YouTube. And start a league. And we might experiment, because right now we play with our friends in a Yahoo league. Some people we've been playing with for years. But we might go into another league with a different point structure if we get enough interest. So let us know in the comments if you're interested in starting a whole nother fantasy league.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. And even if you guys want to get together and maybe do some mock drafts with us, and we can do some live streaming and just get some practice in, I think that would be a lot of fun too. And we can get some chatting going on. Be kind of cool. Talk baseball.
Yeah. It's always fun to talk baseball.
Yeah, right.
All right.
So cool. Stay dumb.
Stay dumb.
Dumb guys.